Let's do a reaction. Hey everybody, my name is AJ. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry for that crazy intro. I want to do another reaction video today against our good old friends over at Ramsey Solutions. This time, Dave Ramsey is actually going to be in this one, so that's exciting. It covers both Dave Ramsey and real estate, which I think is good to go. Real estate investing. All right, so let's get into it.
Alan is with us. Alan is in New Jersey, Newark to be precise. Hi, Alan. How are you?
How you doing, Ramsey? Just trying to put this all together, and I hope to see how we can best unpack this. Now, I have me and my wife have about like $900,000 in debt, but it's not all crazy debt. It's investment.
Look at his eyes. He jumped up immediately. 900,000 in debt. So, not to like be too revealing about myself, but I'm in some pretty significant debt as well. Maybe close to this or higher.
Debt. So, just give you a runabout. Just from what we make. My wife, she works at the port. She's a longshoreman, and she makes about $160. I work in the IT field and the data field, and I make about $115. So let's put that there. Have a nice little nest egg of about $6.
Well, they both make great money, and it sounds like they both work cool jobs. I guess it would depend on where you are, but you know, national average being about 67,000. They're both making nearly double of that, and in her case, she's making more than double that. That's some amazing income. Good job, guys.
$50,000. That's put aside, and I'm 33, she's 32. We're married with 4 kids that's under 10. So it's 10 and under. Yeah, so that's one thing. About the debt portion, I have about $166,000 in my primary home. I bought a house that I renovated, and you know, I just renovated it as a 2-family home. And that's probably ARV is probably worth about $400 right now, and I don't have no debt on that. But however, I had to take out about $100,000 to put into the property to renovate it. All right, so
you do have debt on it, or you don't?
I don't have debt on that property. No, I don't have debt on it. But
you got $100,000 unsecured.
Unsecured. That's
that
right.
You used on that property. Okay.
Correct. I got 20.
Right. So it's hard to tell what he's saying here, but it sounds like what he's saying is he took a home and turned it into a multiplex, like a 2-unit residence. And if he did that, that's awesome. You can make a lot of money doing that. But he paid for the whole property in cash, and then he took out an unsecured debt in order to renovate it, maybe to make it into that 2-unit property. And I don't know, it might have been a better idea for him just to take out a mortgage, and then he would have the cash to put down on that to fix it up, and the mortgage would be a lot lower of an interest rate than an unsecured debt. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's what he's saying. I can't guarantee it, but...
In the line of, well, it's less than 100, but it's like 20 in the line of credit,
yeah,
and about 50, like about 50 from your favorite place so far. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got that one, and then we bought another house, a 4-family, for about for $500,000, but we got it down to like 450. We put some money into it. We put about 40 into it.
What's it worth today?
Probably like 650.
And what do you owe on it total?
What I owe on it right now?
So he made $200K. He's saying he put $40,000 into it, and he made $400K. So he 10x'd his money in just a couple of years. That's pretty incredible. I mean, that's what it sounds like he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
450.
Okay, so I got 850. Okay, there it is. All right.
And then we have about...
Oh, it went up 200K. Okay, so it went up 200K. He put 40K down. So he didn't 10x his money, but he 5x'd it. I mean, that's pretty solid.
My wife, she got a car, $23,000 in car, and about $6,000 on credit cards. No student loans. We paid all that off, and yeah.
Okay. Why are you calling us? How can we help?
All right. So I mean, if he was calling me, I'd give him some better advice maybe than why are you calling me? But I would get rid of the debt, the credit card debt, immediately. I don't know anything about the car loan, but my guesses are the car loan's probably not a great deal either. Should probably dump that as well. I would get all this unsecured debt, like maybe refinance the property that you have and get that unsecured debt paid off with that refinance, and then cash flow it. Cash flow the two properties. I mean, it sounds like they're in a good spot. They got a lot of equity. That's probably what I would do.
Now here's the thing: the property that doesn't have any debt on it, right? I need to pull money out that property to get rid of the interest rate on the debt that I took out to renovate it, right?
Yeah. Why are you calling us?
Yeah, should be calling me.
To see
What do you want to do?
how could you? What's the best way to structure it, and to see what your recommendation is?
Go get a cash out refi. Start calling lenders.
I started buying real estate when I was 22. By the time I was 26, I owned $4 million worth, and I had about a $3 million debt on it. So
All on adjustable rate mortgages. Not a good idea. Don't do adjustable rate mortgages.
I had $1 million worth of equity in the real estate, starting from nothing. What you're doing sounds very stressful to me. It does not sound like there's any peace in your voice.
Yeah, we try to figure it out. We try to structure everything. So
yeah, I think you play the edges on everything, don't you?
No, not really. You know,
Yeah.
my choice.
See, this is the statement that made me want to review this. I don't play the edges on anything. I don't bet money. I don't take out debt that I can't pay back that month unless it's like really planned out specific investment information. I don't I save like crazy. I spend such a small portion of my income every month compared to my total amount, and I invest a crazy amount of money. I have a lot of backup liquid. So the concept that like, oh, because you took debt out on to invest in a property, you must always live on the edge. That's not true. And I think that if you don't live on the edge, if you're very conservative and you're constantly thinking about what you're going to do and how to plan this out properly, that's when you're in a good place to maybe take out some debt in order to get yourself a property for investing.
Yeah, you
I got
do.
a Chevy Tahoe that has 170,000 miles on it. I went to a dealership to buy a car. So I
Dude,
don't treat myself.
you've moved the P 3 or 4 times under the shell, still trying to hide it just in this conversation.
See, he went out and treated himself and got himself a $70,000 car. Don't do that. If you're not in a good place in your investments, if he still has debt he's got to clear by trying to refinance a property, don't go getting crazy. Don't take out new debt. Like, relax. Drive the car that you have. Get this stuff squared away. Put it in a good place. And once you're cash flowing and you're happy and things are working out, that's when you can start considering maybe doing something else. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you do that and it works and you're in a good place, you're cash flowing, and you're starting to think about what to do next, it's not going to be a car. It's probably going to be another property.
Yeah, you're and
We're not in the debt restructuring business. We're in the debt payoff business. And it doesn't sound like you're at a point where you want to become completely debt free or that you're willing to do what it takes to get there.
yeah. The question you're asking and the answers we're going to give are all around the same issue. The issue is, okay, you're 33. When you're 43, what moves are going to make you the best off? Okay.
Right. The move that's going to make you the best off is to refinance and get rid of that consumer debt and stop producing consumer debt. That's the moves that's going to make you best off. What Dave Ramsey's about to tell you will make you, you won't have debt. You'll be in a place where they say it's more secure, but are you going to have a high enough net worth? Are you going to be cash flowing on properties? No, you're not. So it really depends on what your definition of, the best off here that you could possibly be when you're 40.
The best off financially and have the best quality of life with 4 little kids and both of you working big, high-stress jobs. And everything. So I'm going to get rid of one of these properties and a whole bunch of if not all of this debt in the process.
Okay.
Because I think that's going to add an amazing amount of peace to your life. A, you cut your number of tenants in half. B, you got rid of almost, if not all, of your debt. So 400 and 166 pays off. You get rid of everything but the debt on the rental. You pay off your mortgage, your car, your credit cards, and the $100,000 that's owed, and you sell the $400,000 property. That's probably what I'm going to do, because that will take me. Because the peace And the calm, steady movement rather than the flailing about will cause you to build more wealth over time.
No, I mean, yeah, the piece of like being really deterministic and intelligent with your investments will make you a lot of wealth over time. Not investing because that feels risky to you and hoarding everything close to you will not build you a lot of wealth, right? And that's the risk you run here is let's pay off all the debt and then you're going to feel like, oh, good, I'm in a better spot. And then you're still going to have the same problems of you're going to go out and buy that car and treat yourself. You're going to spend all the money that you have. You'll have lifestyle inflation. You'll be in the exact same spot, even without debt, where if you didn't have your job, you would be in trouble. What I want is I want to have my investments in a place where if I don't have my job, that's no big deal. I can live as if nothing happened and then go find another job of my own convenience. Or maybe I can start a business or do whatever it is that I want because my investments are supporting my lifestyle. That's where I want to be. So it feels very sort of haphazard what Dave is saying here of just pay it all off, then that'll make you feel better, then you'll go on living your lifestyle and causing, lifestyle inflation. I mean, he wouldn't say that that's what you would do, but that's probably what this guy's going to do. And he's not really providing him anything that's going to make him and his family secure for the long term. And he's really not going to be building a lot of wealth if he's not maintaining these properties. And if they're cash flowing, hold on to them, do a cash out refi, pay off the consumer debt and move on.
And you've been just kind of pushing the edges on this. Maybe you don't realize you are, but and if you don't realize you are, that's even more of a problem. Because I know this guy because I was him. I mean, something about the real estate business, they take the risk meter out of your heart and they put it on a table and hit it with a hammer and break it, so you no longer can measure risk. And you don't perceive that all of this is risk.
You just see returns. You get a little
it's just like,
starry
well,
eyed.
the renters are paying it off. No, they're not. The renters don't pay their bill half the time. You got a problem all the time with that. And
that's statistically not true. Most renters pay, and it does help doing your due diligence, finding a good renter, get a good property manager. All this stuff is running a business. It's not magical, and you shouldn't just assume like I'm going to buy a property and it'll all work out. It takes a lot of work lining up all the pieces to make this successful. And it is a business. I mean, it's a side business. So you'd have to take, this guy, he's got to understand that. He can't just assume that, this is all just going to work out. And if you don't have the constitution to do that, to run a business, to take out some debt, to buy and take care of these properties, then this isn't for you. This, house investing, following Dave Ramsey's for you. And that's fine. There's different strategies for doing all this stuff. But I don't think it's a one size fits all. And I think this guy has the ability to really take himself to the next level if he was to relax, make some smart decisions, stop taking out new debt, like buying new cars, knock that off, man. I think I'm going to stop there. So, again, Dave Ramsey invoked like, hey, this was me at some point. It wasn't. He didn't do this the same way. And that always bothers me is he takes his example and he applies it across the board to everyone. Imagine if I was to start a business like a cookie shop, not knowing anything about cookies, taking out a bunch of debt, and it's all on adjustable rate mortgages. And all of a sudden there's something in the news that says, eating cookies is bad for you and I can't weather that storm and I fail. And then my buddy comes to me and says, I'm going to start a cookie shop. And I say, it's a bad idea because this is what I did and this is what happened to me and I failed. And then he looks at the model and sees all the flaws in the model that I created and then says, okay, well, I can do this better because, you didn't crunch the numbers properly. You didn't do it properly. And that's what Dave Ramsey's doing here. He took out a bunch of adjustable rate mortgages on as little equity as humanly possible. He put as little down as he possibly could. He basically gambled everything that the housing market would always go up. And when it didn't, he lost all of it. We don't teach that here. So if you're going to do real estate investing, understand a few things. One is there always is risk to any kind of leverage debt. So you take out debt to buy a property, that's risk. There's always work involved. It's not, a fire and forget type of mentality. You've got to make sure that you stay on top of your stuff. You keep your houses together. You stay on top of your property managers. You got to make sure that all that stuff is taken care of. And lastly, it's a patience game. You're making really smart decisions, making good purchases, making sure they cash flow, and then you're waiting and you're letting that happen. And then you'll do it again and you be patient and you let that happen. And you can't be collecting debt. Outside of that, you cannot be collecting consumer debt. If you can't afford to do these houses, you can't afford to be doing consumer debt and new cars or anything like that. So be very intentional with your money. Know where your money is going. I agree with Dave Ramsey on that. And make smart decisions. And you can really, if you invest hardcore, take your wealth to the next level. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you stopping by. Please smash the like button, subscribe below. It helps us out tremendously. Comment. If you're going to dislike us, at least toss a comment down there about the stuff we're getting wrong. I super appreciate it. I'm learning too, so anything is helpful. Visit us on wealthyidiots.com, and until then, I'll see you guys next time.